dogs, this is Miss Halliar. I'm going to continue reading the one and only Bob to you guys today. I'm really excited and I hope everybody's been enjoying the book as much as me. Today I'm reading pages 190 through 215. Xena. Another dog races over a tough-looking German shepherd wearing an impressive glow-in-the-dark vest and some booty things to protect her feet from the rubble, but I hold my ground. This is my friend we're talking about. I lick Ivan's hand. His fingers twitch. Well, that's all it takes to get both of us barking like maniacs. More people gather. I see Maya next to Ruby, which makes me feel better. Name Xena, says the shepherd. Bob. I nudge Ivan's fingers with my nose. Nothing. And this is Ivan, my best bud. Sorry to hear it, she replies. I don't like the sound of her voice. With great care and far too slowly for my taste, rescue workers begin removing chunks of the wreckage and tossing them to one side. Xena and me, we mostly stay out of the way, but every so often I lick Ivan's hand just so he knows we've got him covered. I glance over at Maya and Ruby. Maya is wiping tears from her eyes while she strokes Ruby's ears. Ruby is giving Maya a comforting trunk hug. Good old Ruby, wise beyond her years. That gal. I check the crowd again. Still no sign of Julia or George, and that's when a sickening thought hits me like a bite to the belly. What if Ivan isn't the only one under the rubble? Dragon. More police cars and ambulances arrive at the park. A handful of keepers stream in too, looking frantic and confused. The weirdest thing of all, wandering through all the destruction in random park residents, animals, birds, reptiles, residents who most definitely do not belong in the gorilla world. A police officer is chasing an armadillo. A great blue heron watches the mayhem from her position atop a giraffe statue. A wallaby pokes his nose out of a bush, his saucer eyes catching the fire engine lights. Nets, someone yells. We need more nets. An older gentleman holding a blue umbrella lets out a blood-curdling scream. Dragon, he cries. I swear to you, I just saw a baby dragon. Sir, says a keeper named Malik. No worries. That's actually a Gila monster. His name is Gilligan. A paramedic raises his hand. They have, venom, don't they? They have a healthy adult. They say a healthy adult won't die from it, Malik shrugs. Although, they'll be in some serious pain. Wonderful, the paramedic mutters. I glance over my shoulder to see Sarah running toward Maya. I can't hear her words, but I can definitely see the worry in her eyes. Xena's ears tip forward. They're getting the cutters and the jaws of life. Jaws? I repeat. I don't like the sound of that. Spreads metal. They're probably getting close. Come on, we need to get out of the way. I ain't going anywhere. I hear you, she says, and I can tell from the weary sound of her voice that she's had this conversation before, but the best thing for Ivan right now is to let the humans do their thing. I think about it, figure she's right. I give his fingers one last lick. They don't move. Nothing. Nada. We pick our way to the bottom of the debris pile. Hang in there, Ivan, I call. We love you, buddy. I know it's crazy, but I listen anyways, hoping for a sign. Any sign that he's still with us. Hugging. I run to Kenyani. Don't worry, I tell her. He's gonna make it. I can tell she doesn't believe me. From there, I head over to Maya and Sarah and Ruby. Maya has a radio handset in one hand and for some reason a young, squirmy meerkat in the other. Sarah kneels down and hugs me tighter than any sweater she's ever knit. Bob, she cries, what happened to your nose? And look at your paw. Some dogs don't like to be hugged that way. I'm one of them. But Sarah needs to do it. I can tell somehow, so I let her. Isn't so bad, really. Lose. A new police officer joins us, Officer Williams. She nods at Maya. You're with the park, right? Yes, I'm Maya. This, Officer Williams pauses. We need to get this under control ASAP. Winds are gonna pick up and we haven't even hit the eye. Storm surge could be an issue. This one's moving slow. We've got skeleton staff here, says Maya as the meerkat attempts to eat her earring. Early reports say maybe a third of the habitats are damaged or destroyed. She shakes her head. We've got some injuries, some possible fatalities too. Human? Don't think so. Anything loose that could be a, problem. Maya presses her lips together. Yep, such as a couple Florida panthers, gray wolves, python maybe, possibly an alligator or two. American alligators, not Chinese. I don't care if they're from Canada. If they eat people, we're in trouble. They don't. Typically. Typically, Officer William repeats. Well, that's reassuring. Sarah loosens her grip on me ever so slightly. Maya, she asks, voice trembling, Have you heard anything on the radio from George and Julia? I keep calling, but the cell towers are down. Nothing yet, Maya says, but I'm sure they're fine. Nearest shelter's over at Lincoln Elementary, says Officer Williams. You could check there. Sarah frowns. They were probably here right before the tornado hit. We're searching the park, ma'am, says the officer. We'll find them if they're here. Everybody clear out, a firefighter with a megaphone yells from a spot near Ivan. Could be a danger of more collapse. We're working on the last metal beam. I look to see if Ivan's fingers are moving. Nothing. Hold on, Ivan, I yell. Nothing. Sometimes nothing is the worst sound in the world. Ruby lets out a little elephant cry, and then I realize maybe that's the worst sound in the world. CPR. The wind dies down to a whisper, as if the world is holding its breath along the rest of us. Do you have any vets standing by, asks Officer Williams as two more ambulances screech to a halt nearby. Yes, Maya nods. Not sure when they'll get here, though. Officer Williams waves down an ambulance crew member. You ever give CPR to a gorilla? Primate's a primate, I guess, he says, but he doesn't look too sure. What's going on? We're waiting on equipment, but we're stretched pretty thin. Lots of structural damage on the north side of town, said Officer Williams. They're going to get a chain on that last beam. Try pulling it free with one of the cars. Somebody under there? A gorilla, we think. Not sure what else or who else. I look at all the cement, all the wood and metal. Nobody could survive that, not even a silverback gorilla with strength of 8 men. And yet, Ivan's fingers moved. And then they didn't. Several minutes pass. The rain slows a little bit along the wind. The crowd watches as 3 firefighters attach a long chain to the metal beam next to Ivan, then hook it to a tow bar on the rear of a police car. Back up, folks, calls the megaphone guy. Farther. The chain clanks and the car growls, the wheels squeal. Grinding, groaning, progress, just a bit. The big chunk of metal has definitely moved a whisker or two. More grinding, wheels dig holes in the ground. Mud flies like a thick brown rain. A lurch, a snap, clanks and rumbles as the big beam jerks free. The rescue workers move in, digging with their bare hands. Cement and dust and metal and bits and pieces of gorilla world are everywhere. But where is Ivan? No movement, nothing. But after a few more minutes, one thing is clear. A gorilla-shaped mound has appeared, covered by dust and dirt and debris and splattered with rain. It just lies there. I've lost a lot in my life. My whole family, Stella, but Ivan? No, it can't happen. Not Ivan. The mound sits up. Ivan emerges from a cloud of dust like a jumbo-sized ghost. He blinks several times, coughs, shakes, stretches a little. He's holding a banana, which he proceeds to eat. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, cheers. I scramble over to Ivan. He gives me a look that says, "You're the best, Bob." I thought you were a goner, I say, licking some banana goo off his chin. Me too. Ivan seems a little dazed. His eyelashes are white with dust. What happened anyway? Tornado. Ruby okay? Kenyani? Julia? George? Haven't seen Julia or George yet. Kenyani's over there, carrying on. A paramedic holding a box of medical equipment approaches us nervously. I've got this, calls a woman I recognize as one of the park veterinarians. The paramedic looks happy to step aside. The vet gently but firmly pushes me out of the way. I'll be back, I tell Ivan. I run to Kenyani. He's good. He's totally good. The look of joy in her eyes makes me want to give her an affectionate nose nudge. Almost. From there, I join Ruby and Maya. I was so scared, Bob, Ruby whispers. Me too, I admit. Me too, but he's fine, I promise. We watch a pair of otters dart past, chased by a guy with a net. One of the firefighters who'd been clearing debris yells, "We're clear here. No sign of other victims." Sarah closes her eyes and I can smell her relieved tears, while Maya listens to her walkie-talkie trying to take stock of the damage to the park. Officer Williams' police radio hisses and crackles with new problems, new flooding, new dire predictions. Copy that, she says into her radio. Even with the chaos and noise, I'm close enough to the radio to catch the tiny sound of frantic barking. We've got a unit reporting the animal shelter down the street's flooding, Officer Williams said. Also, we've got trailer park damage on 12th Street, an oak down at Nelson Avenue blocking traffic, and a big rig overturned near the fairgrounds, and that's just for starters. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice something airborne. It's graceful and bold, like a huge wingless bird. The crowd gasps. It's Kimu. He lands on the hood of the Officer Williams squad car. His eyes are glazed, his coat wet and shimmering. We've got a 1091 here, Officer Williams whispers into her receiver. Confirm. There's a wolf on top of my vehicle. Slowly, she reaches for the pistol on her hip. Please advise. Shots fired. Several officers raise their guns. The tranquilizer dart guy takes aim too. No! Maya yells, no guns! Camus blinks, eyes darting right and left, then leaps off the car with such grace and speed it's like he owns the wind. 2 shots ring out. Silence follows. Was he hit? Somebody asks. Maya closes her eyes. I sure hope not. I sure hope so, someone else says. As I watched that leap, I watched Camus fly. I didn't know what to think. Part of me was like, go for it, dude. And the other part of me was thinking, it's a jungle out there.